that's actually starting. Nope, gotta send out the tweet. And say, text quest game. Devstream is starting. Oh, I probably should get a screenshot. Need to do better at this. I need to build up like a library of screenshots that I can just reference, and I always forget. Well, anyway, while I'm doing this, hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is April 19th, and this is the April 19th Text Quest Devstream. Okay, take a photo, close out, and then upload this real quick. Assuming I can get everything in order. So today, we're going to be going over, well actually I'm going to describe a quick thing that I'm doing with the Mac builds, which is frustrating. And then I will go over some extra stuff to combat that I've been working on and that we're going to do tonight. We're going to be doing mostly polished stuff tonight because I have a stand-up tomorrow that I will be presenting Text Quest at. So, let's see, Text Quest Devstream is starting now. Come watch. And then the usual hashtag game dev. Hashtag indie dev. And hashtag made with Unity. And I feel like at some point I'm starting to abuse the tag systems. Anyway. Okay. So we're all caught up. And everything seems to be streaming correctly. And I can now delete that once Twitter is actually done. So, first things first. Some of you might remember that last week was really, really nasty because of a variety of weird technical problems. Some of them were related to Unity, some of them were OBS, and actually I'm still having the OBS problem, so you can see the chat window in the stream right now, but that's because I had to do a completely different way to capture the chat bar as before, which sucks because the old way was much better, but the current way works. Alright. Good to see you, Garrett. Let me see what else. So, we were having trouble with scenes loading. And currently, so let me go ahead and go to the very start. So other, splash fade. I guess I can delete that folder. I don't need it anymore. Okay. So we'll start from splash fade, which is just a buffer screen that loads the game's save files and its settings. Skip through all this stuff. Type start, new game. Ah, crap. Hold on. So I gotta pause real quick. I'm going to change these, and I will tell you why these are not correct right now. Once we get past this, so we can just go through, set everything up. Yes, normal, right, green, yes, and yes. So now when we load this scene, except apparently now, because, and I am honestly curious if OBS has something to do with this, because I did not have this trouble before the stream. Hooray. Well, in any case, it does let me talk about something odd. So I'm going to stop playing, and I'm going to replay, and I'm not going to change those values, assuming that Unity doesn't crash. Okay, there we go. So for some reason, there's something in my castle scene that Mac builds will not load asynchronously. I have no idea what it is. I don't know what's causing it. I have tried making the scene, I've tried editing the scene in multiple ways. I've disabled everything in the scene, made a build with that, tested that. Why did I type Steam? New game, Chris, yes, normal, right, green, yes, yes. This is weird. So there's something in the castle scene that just hates being loaded asynchronously. There's no errors. There's never any errors. There's never any sort of debug line that gets spat out that gives it any context. But something in that first scene just will not load asynchronously. But that's not entirely true. So a weird thing that you can do is I can load the scene synchronously, so all at once, which will cause, a lag spike. And then if I leave to a different scene and come back, it will load asynchronously. I have no idea why that works. It makes zero sense. There is, again, no errors. There's no log lines in the console or in the output log file that makes any sense. It just happens, and I haven't been able to find anyone with the same problem. Because most of the time, people who have trouble getting load or level asynchronous level loading stuck at 90 is because they've disabled finish or load automatically on finish. It's really weird. So we'll do start here. So we're in the sewer right now, and I disabled the actual original start points because I was testing combat earlier. But now, if we try to come back here, we should actually get stuck again. And it makes no sense. It's a really, really weird thing. But, again, so I'm going to stop playing, I'm going to go over to console, and you can see that we're not getting any errors. We're getting there are no audio listeners in the scene, but that's just because it's the sewer level loading incorrectly. Anyway, so let me go ahead and, I might have deleted it. Let me see if I left the script in at least. Okay, so I can just do this real quick. Make a new scene. We're going to attach load castle. So I actually made some Mac builds that tested this, and I guess Windows is doing this now too, which is weird because originally it seemed like Windows could power through it, and there wasn't actually a problem. Hello, Wyatt. Wyatt Sanders? Wyatt Sanders. Hello. Welcome to the Devstream. Currently discussing a very, very, very annoying bug. So this script, this load castle script, is just going to load the castle scene as soon as this scene starts. And it's going to load it, it's not going to load it asynchronously. Oh, dear God. Although apparently it is going to mess with the audio, which is weird. So you can see that the scene loads just fine if you brute force it. So you can brute force loading the scene, saying load you all at once, and then behave yourself. And, so this is a temporary placeholder torch sound effect, although it's way louder than it should be, which is really distracting. Let me see what these guys are set to. Weird. They should be a lot quieter, but for some reason they seem to be really, really loud. Alright, well I'm just going to sprint past all the crackling paper. I'm going to open this up. God, those are super loud when loading synchronously. Yeah, we get our temporary cutscene. I will put open here. Open. God, I need a much better sound effect. That one is crap. Open. Pull. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and skip all this stuff. Oh, hello. What is this? No, I fixed this. Transitions. Sewer. Well, this is interesting. Where are you? Load scene. Object not set to a... Interesting. You know what? I wonder if that has something to do with loading asynchronously. And that would be a train. Because part of loading asynchronously is that I do some setup whenever you actually finish loading the scene, and it looks like weird. So TQ instance. Okay, I know what it is. Okay, I gotcha. I gotcha. Weird. I'm gonna try playing this again, and then I'm gonna move the player character over there. Oh my god, we're gonna fix that stupid audio bug though. Let's go to scenes, intro, castle. Yeah, fine, we'll save. And we'll just call this temp. See if they're that loud. Oh my god, they are. That is horrific. Those guys need to be changed. Select this prefab. Let's change this audio. I'm going to lower its volume down to 0.25. Could be that I was testing it without my headphones on and I just couldn't hear that properly. That's here. It's still really loud. Alright, well, let's shut down the max distance to like 3. And I might have to actually end up adjusting that, which would be very, very frustrating. Yep, I do. Sometimes the audio in Unity is really, really dumb. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and say 0.1. That'll lower this all the way down. Sort of an awkward angle. Should be able to save that, and now it should not be as audible from as far away. Okay. I might need to give it a little bit more. Oh my god. Jumping does not want to work with me today. So maybe make it a little bit further away. But you can hear it now. That's actually a little bit more tolerable. Okay. So I'm going to make a small tweak, make that 4, and then everything should be fine. So let's go back to temp, let everything load in, and then we are going to see, I think I know what happened. Actually, I think I can get around that by just doing this. Okay, so welcome back. And now if we look at this, okay, so global's in there. So everything should be fine. So, again, you can see how weird this is that I can load the scene all at once, but if I load it asynchronously, it just hangs. And again, no errors, it just doesn't work. It's very strange. And it's also even worse, like I said, it's not consistent in not loading. It does seem like Mac builds consistently do not load, but Windows builds occasionally seem to be able to just force their way through that 90%. So if I hit start, it should spawn here. I have not seen that emoticon before. Okay, now if it's consistent with what's happened before, it should load. There we go. Look at that. It makes no sense. We can hit start. I don't know what happens here. I don't know why loading the scene non-asynchronously, then leaving and then loading it again synchronously or asynchronously in the same play session will work. It makes no sense. I don't know what's doing it. There has to be some stupid corruption with this level or something. That's the only thing I can think of. Because there's nothing particularly special about it. There's nothing really radical in the scene, and like I said at the beginning, I've experimented by shutting off the entire scene, like disabling the entire scene, so that there's nothing in the actual scene besides. Well, I mean it's all disabled, but that means that nothing should load. It should just be really, really quick. But no, there's nothing. It just gets stuck, and it drives me crazy because I can't figure out what it is. There's no errors. There's no breadcrumb trail to follow. It's just Unity crossing its arms, huffing, and saying, "Nope, I'm not going to load." Drives me crazy. That's also a much better sound effect. So, silver lining. Got a much better torch sound effect. It is kind of level gremlins. I feel like, what was it, the guy in the Twilight Zone episode? There's a gremlin on the wings! Because it seriously doesn't make sense. There's nothing for me that I can visibly and easily understand is happening. There's no real. It's weird. I don't really know how to fix it. At least do all this stuff. So that's something I'm currently trying to do. which I really don't want to, but I might have to go with the nuclear option, which is um, pretty much just make a whole new scene and test that. Yeah, I think that was the episode with Shatner, um, which is always weird to think about how he was on the Twilight Zone. Um, but yeah, so that is a weird, inconsistent bug that sometimes affects Windows, always affects Macs, and it's only the castle scene because, like you saw, it loads the sewer scene just fine, no problems whatsoever. Um, it's just God, it pisses me off. I have no idea what causes it. Ugh. So that's the big bug that I'm currently trying to squash. Probably after the stream tonight, I'm gonna do that nuclear option where I just make a new scene and put everything in it again. Because I've had weird things happen where sometimes a scene file is just corrupted in some tiny way that makes it not work properly. I have no idea why, but hey, it's possible. Okay. So anyway, on to happier topics because they actually follow sense. Let's go to intro, sewers. We're in sewers. All right. So I have pretty much got the sewer level completely finished, which is nothing new. It's been done for a while now. But I've actually baked occlusion. Voice crack. Drink. I've actually baked the occlusion for this level, which is pretty much not really necessary. The nice thing about this aesthetic is that if I went as far down the level as I could and didn't have any occlusion culling set up, I probably would still have less than... So this has about 20,000 triangles, which actually seems pretty high. I don't know where those are coming from, unless it means the entire scene. Which, actually, it might. Hold on. No, it doesn't. So this entire chunk is 20,000 triangles, and I mean that's nothing on modern machines for a level. So this level in particular is really boxy and doesn't really need much, but still, every bit of performance that you can get is good. Anyway, freshly baked occlusions. So we're gonna hit our troll, go through here. We're gonna see if okay, good. I'm also gonna go ahead and mute my audio. So the battle scene is pretty much the same as before, but I have added a couple of things at the end. So first off, we're gonna say, oh crap! Oh my god, everything's so fast. Oh, I need to fix that. So after this demo, we're going to fix that so that the combo doesn't show up when the enemy does it. All right. Some of you might also remember that we had a weird error that would show up if you typed more characters in the input menu than allowed. And now that doesn't always show up, which is, again, weird and inconsistent, and I hate inconsistencies. So for now, we're just kind of happy that it's not happening. The Santa Claus hat was 5K? Holy crap. I mean, well, hey, I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. So kick, crush, hit, attack, kick. Okay, so that should be enough to kill him. Yeah, that's generally why I don't get models off the asset store. So now, when you actually win, it plays a quick cutscene that shows the enemy falling over and dissolving into smoke, and then it'll fade out, and it actually places you back where you were. Although, oh yeah, I forgot about that. The audio doesn't want to work after that. I probably need to tell... Hold on. Oh, you know what? I bet... Let's go to audio. Let's go here. And Weird. So it doesn't want to play the audio for some reason. Huh. Why are you way over there? Oh, wait, no, that's... Huh. Interesting. So, for some reason, my audio here is just not playing? Yeah, and the text particle effects are actually one of the things that I enjoy making the most. Actually, in the sewer level, you'll see the occasional water drop, and if I can pause it right when it happens, we can actually come up here and look at it, and it will say it's going to be super tiny. But you can see that it actually says drip. So we actually have some water particle effects that just have drip particles. Good God, 12,000 triangles. Anyway, so, I guess we're going to need to figure that out too, because it's weird that the audio doesn't follow you. I'm going to turn off maximize on play. Ah, that's super weird. So, the sphere is following me, but for some reason it just doesn't want to hear it. Let me turn on hero clone. Grab my main camera. Audio listener is on. Sector audio system is working. Occlusion, there's nothing being occluded. Weird. Don't know what it's doing. Well, in any case, the main thing is that combat transitions actually work, and it doesn't just sort of unceremoniously fade to black with the enemy still standing there. There is actually an ending cutscene. And then when you come back, of course, the enemy is gone. But apparently there's a myriad of other problems that are just kind of stupid. So... Oh, and speaking of things that are just kind of stupid, another weird bug that the Mac build has is that occasionally, when you're in that first corridor... Let me go ahead and open up the level. So in the castle, when you're in this first corridor, and you're walking... Once it loads. Okay. Apparently it didn't. There we go. So occasionally, and again, inconsistently, when you're in this first corridor and you're walking through here, the game, only on Macs, not on Windows, will just crash when you reach about here. No idea why. There's nothing special about this area. It just crashes. And again, there's nothing conspicuous in the editor log that says, hey, there was a massive null reference error, or hey, you have a memory leakage, or anything like that. It just crashes. Hello, Swipefast Studios. Drop Mac support. I'm not gonna just drop Mac support. I feel really bad actually, because Mac has always given me trouble. So even a year ago, when I made my first public demo, the one that's currently up on the website, there was a Mac problem that was something I couldn't fix. It was a engine problem, and it was basically the canvas through a weird graphics rendering error on Macs. And it wasn't even an error; it was a warning. It was like something that Mac had depreciated, and therefore it wouldn't actually work on Macs. It was very weird, and it took me like a week to find it. But again, it's just frustrating that Mac has all these stupid bugs that Windows doesn't. I don't know why they're there. Although again, sometimes Windows does share them, but inconsistently. And those errors don't always happen on Windows. Yeah. Well, and what I'm betting is, if I probably should try this actually. I should, assuming that my Mac laptop can actually use the new version of Unity. I assume if you make builds with Macs, things tend to work out fine. And actually, I know that that's how things usually work, because with oh crap, what was I gonna say? Actually, no, that's not entirely true because that's where that weird canvas rendering thing came from a year ago. But in general, when you make a build, like an actual Mac build with a Mac machine that is running Unity, it seems like there's a higher success rate and less chance of weird bugs. I don't know why, but that has been something that I have seen before. Where if a build is just really, really buggy, I mean, not like poor code quality, but just like the weird internal Unity stuff, um, it seems to work fine if you build them on Mac, but then sometimes if you build them on PC, it doesn't work properly. And it's just really weird and very frustrating, and it drives me crazy because it's not something I can fix. Um, so it means that I either have to drop, $2,000 on a Mac, or I just have to not have Mac support until near the end, at which point I will have to drop $2,000 on a Mac and then make a freaking Mac build. It drives me crazy. Yeah, but I've never liked discouraging, or I've never liked not supporting Macs, because for most of my college career and in high school I had a MacBook. Um, I guess technically college was a MacBook Pro, but um, and there were only a few games that I could play really, and the games I did get to play were really really fun. Amnesia, Penumbra, a lot of the frictional game stuff. Valve stuff was all Mac after a certain point, obviously, and a couple of other games. And it wasn't until I got my desktop, which, yes, the PC Glorious Master Race is wonderful. I love my desktop, but I'm also trying to accommodate people who have toasters. Um, and that's always been sort of a goal that I set for myself in these. And that's partially why this aesthetic is, I really like this aesthetic, because most of the stuff can be rendered on a toaster. It's maybe the most complicated stuff is the substance generation. That's probably the most intensive thing that happens. And that really only increases your load times. And it's adjustable. So, who knows? Yeah, and Blizzard stuff is definitely available on Mac. Because I had a buddy of mine who absolutely loved Mac. Or no, absolutely loved Blizzard. And he would just play that thing religiously on his laptop. Also, fun fact, does everyone remember Zombieland? Did you ever see that? Mobile dev equals toaster support. That's true. Um, so fun life story while I'm sort of figuring out what I want to do next. Uh, in Zombieland, at the very beginning of the movie, the main character is talking about how he spent, you know, days on end with pizza boxes stacked high and Code Red Mountain Dew playing World of Warcraft. And the first time I ever saw that movie, it was at my high school, and a bunch of my friends got together to watch that movie. And that part came up. All of us looked to our left, and my friend was just sitting there playing WoW on his laptop in the dark with Code Red Mountain Dew and a bunch of pizza boxes, and it was uncanny. Um, anyway, so I think what I'm going to do next is try to figure out. Let me go ahead and pull up my Castle Sewers Manager, and I should have. Let's see. Let's go to Audio, Waterfall Audio. Here we go. Sector Spline Source. So I think I don't want this to play on start. And instead, I should have it play whenever on-level load complete was called here. So we're going to say, we're going to add a reference, and it is a sector spline source. So we're probably going to need to have a using sector. Really? I thought sector had its own thing, but maybe it doesn't. So we're going to say public. We'll put it above the renderers. Put it right here. Public sector audio. Yep, right there. Sector spline. Spline. Sector blind source. We'll call it sewage audio. Then down here on level load complete, we will say sewage audio dot be play. I guess it's going to be play. Okay. So let's try that, and it should get everything working. Although it's weird because this means that it was automatically playing on start anyway. I don't know. That's kind of awkward. Okay, so once that finishes compiling, it'll actually play, and I need to drink. So, enough about my buggy world problems and terrible, cheesy past of Zombieland and friends. How are you all doing tonight? And automatically, before I get too far, I was about to swear, because, seriously, why is the audio not working? Null reference. We got a null reference. That's why. Oh, because I'm stupid, and I forgot to actually assign that. I love it. Okay, let's try this again. Anyway, how are you all tonight? Hopefully that'll work. Otherwise, I'll be very unhappy. Okay. I'm very unhappy. Especially since, you know, it's following me. That's what that little black sphere is. That means it's following me. Yeah, okay. Play again, and I'm going to pause. That's because I instantly started playing before I let it compile. Anyway, so you're playing volume. We'll turn it up to 4, or to full. Let's see. The ambience. Make sure that this isn't set to be 0 or something like that. Nope, it's working. Going to be very unhappy. Okay. So, double fun. I'm going to turn on play on start. Just to see what happens. Oh my god. Oh. I left mute audio on. Oh my god. I feel like an idiot. Okay. Incidentally, I didn't get much sleep last night. Doing well, the stream went well. Yeah. Oh yeah, and sorry I missed your stream today, Garrett. I meant to tune in, and I after work got out, I pretty much crashed. Yay! Look at that. It's all here. God, I can't believe I did that. So now let's play combat real quick. I'm not going to mute audio, even though it's super loud. I will mute it and then I'll turn it back on later. Oh, and side note, I got my capture card from Amazon finally, so I can start doing non-PC, errors back, non-PC video game streaming. Assuming that I can get it to work. It requires, I'm still tweaking it a lot. There's a lot of weird settings on it. But I can start doing stuff like streaming the Paper Mario stream and talking about the combat system and how I sort of deconstructed it to pretty much make text quests. Attack, stomp, crush, kick, punch, kick. I won't be doing that this weekend though, just because I have to go home. Although, well, if I get back at a decent hour on Saturday, I might. Okay, so get fall over, then smoke, and then dissipation, and fade out. And let me turn off. Freaking, where's my mouse? Oh, good. So things work, which is nice. And quick, go ahead and pause. Set maximize on play to true. all of this stuff up. Yeah, actually, so the troll falling, rotate left, that animation is actually not what I was originally going to do, but it was what I ended up having to do, because, so I'm using Cinema Director for my cutscene stuff, and I'm using that basically as a nice curve editor for animations like that, and it would not rotate the correct way from 0 rotation Z to negative 90 Z, which would be that sort of fall forward rotation. It would rotate the other way, so it would go from 0 to 270, which means that it rotated through the floor essentially. So to get around that, I had to make it actually animate to fall forward a little bit, and that wobble makes it look better than if I just had it fall straight forward, because it was too slow way. So, unlock, key. Oh, I forgot to pick up the key. Womp womp. But I'm actually happy with how the wobbling animation turned out. Take this. So I need to tweak these global illumination values. I think they're a little too strong. But then again, I kind of like them. Find this. Unlock. Key. Alright. And then we can just rotate this. Uh-oh. Well, that's interesting. That shouldn't be happening. Okay. I wonder if this null reference threw me off somehow. Okay. Well, I'm going to try replaying the scene real quick. Because having all of those switches turned on should have actually... I was going to turn on my spawn point. Having all of those switches turned on should have caused the waterfall to disappear. And it did not do that, obviously. Okay, so I'm going to take this. Try this again. Rotate. I'm also getting odd inconsistencies with the animation for these valves. So if I rotate this one, you can see that it doesn't seem to happen right away. Rotate. But it's pretty close. It's got some delay, which is weird. I'm guessing that's just a weird mechanism setup that I've done wrong. Oh, I'm just going to cheat here. I'm just going to move my guy past the troll. I really should add a no clipping mode, similar to what William has in his game. Certainly make getting around much easier. Okay, so we're going to unlock with key. What the hell? Really? Weird. Okay, well, that shouldn't be happening. Did something change? No. That all seems to be working. Oh, here we go. The hell? Water shut off. Oh, god damn it. The hell happened here? Okay, so this should be valve... Oh, great. Valve B, outflow A active. And valve 3 should be valve C, outflow active. Okay. Alright, well thank you for stopping by, Wyatt. I guess I need to figure out why it's doing that. That's really frustrating. Um, yeah, well, it's not just turning off colliders for no clip mode. It's actually um, it's setting your player character to not be affected by physics at all, essentially. Um, because you, in no clip mode, you don't just walk through walls; you actually fly around. So it'd be like disabling your collider, then rotate. This should be rotate left. If I was smart, I would have probably just turned. Well, I hope that past me was smart, is what I'm getting at. Because otherwise I'm going to be kind of sad and frustrated. How long have I been working on this game? This is about 2.5 years. So, lock, key, open. Son of a bitch. Okay, I'm going to do a quick check here. Make sure that this stuff is set up still. Okay, so that's all correct. And real quick, I'm gonna go to props, valves, pipe B. It's right there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and test this. Okay. Also, I'm just gonna disable the freaking troll. So yeah, this is about 2.5 years in not full-time work, just whatever time I can scrape together. Okay, so now I'm gonna pause. Okay, there we go. I need to change that. So I was dumb when I made these. So, oh wait, no, I was okay. Never mind. I was not as dumb as I thought. I was just dumb right now. But yeah, 2.5 years, and it's not just these first two levels. These first two levels have been the focus of sort of the last year. In addition to part of the Magma River level, which is, God, a monster of a level. I also have about 5 other finished levels, finished in the sense that their normal mode is done, Sierra mode still needs to be done on them. Go ahead, pause. Again, disable enemies. But yeah, there's still a lot of work to do. It just takes me a long time because I'm the only one doing this, and I can't do it full time because I have a crippling addiction, food, shelter. But I like doing it. It is very, very fun. Well, not always, but it's enjoyable. I love doing it. And of course I get to gradually pick up new skill sets once I start mashing my head against the keyboard until I learn things. Actually, I'm looking forward to getting back into modeling and texturing again. Unlock with key. Open. Okay, now this should work. There we go. I should probably have the reverb effect up here. So, and we can actually end the demo if we interact with the seal and say touch it. So the actual demo is pretty feature complete at this point. It's just getting the small stuff like combat to work properly. And figuring out that stupid bug with the castle. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I've been doing pretty poorly with the with the chat. Because I've been complaining about my bugs. So real quick, I'm going to go ahead and open up my combat scene for the sewers, and we're going to make some edits to this. Yeah, the sector stuff it's less useful now that occlusion culling is free for everyone. It was a huge asset back in Unity 4 when you still had Unity Pro that actually sort of hid services away from you. But it still does certain things really nicely, like the audio stuff in it is great. And I assume the level streaming stuff is really nice too, but I haven't really messed with it. Alright. Also, Swipe Studios, based on your name, I'm assuming that you're also a game developer, or some creative person of some type. Are you working on any game currently? And right now I'm going to go ahead and set up some new cutscenes. So I need to have a cutscene for... Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and open up programming first. So let's close this stuff. And we're going to add a... Do we want to have a victory message that shows up? So by default, when you play combat, or when you complete combat and actually beat the enemy, it just falls over, disappears in a puff of black smoke, and then fades out. I don't know if I want to do something similar to... I'm partial to victory screens, so let me pull one up real quick, actually. So let's pull this over here. Let's go to YouTube. And I'll pull up Paper Mario first, because it has a nice easy one. Combat. Working on a platformer. A 2D adventure treasure hunting game. Hello, Narcos. I am doing well. Assuming I can even find a Paper Mario combat screen. Let's do Paper Mario 1 combat. I just got done ranting about a bunch of hugely stupid bugs in my game that I am either incapable of fixing or too incompetent to fix, apparently. Really? Why is this so hard to find? Should do Paper Mario 1, I guess. A lot of stupid Super Paper Mario stuff. Alright, so I'm going to mute this, skip past all this crap, and we'll go into a combat screen. Here we go. So this is, I've shown this off before, but we haven't really taken a look at right there. So let's go back a little bit. So this is the Paper Mario victory combat screen. Was I able to fix the loading bug? No. No, I was not, because there is something in the castle scene that just will not work. I have no idea what it was, or what it is. It's only in the castle scene, and it is only when you're loading it asynchronously. You can brute force load it, and it will behave just fine. And it makes it even worse, because if you brute force load it once, then asynchronously load it later, it will work just fine. It's only when you try to do it without loading it previously, and it drives me insane. So I'm looking into that. And after the stream tonight, I'm probably going to just make a new scene with all that stuff in it and test load that scene. Anyway, so this is what a victory looks like in Paper Mario. So all of the enemies have been defeated. Camera zooms in on the player. We get a little sort of animation of them hopping up and down, or Mario wagging his finger, and then you start to see them go off to the right, which is actually brilliant. I didn't think about that. Well, the problem is that having a load bar is pointless if it's not asynchronous, because loading it in with non-asynchronously just loads it all at once. That's why you get the weird, like, it bricks your screen for about half a minute while everything loads, and then it actually works. But I don't want to do that. And it's not done that before. That is not a bug that is consistent. It is something new. It has to have been something I've added, except I don't know what it is because I haven't really added anything in that scene that would do that. I blame it on Enlighten because it's usually the last thing to show up. But I don't know. It's really, really weird and frustrating. So I'm currently looking at getting that in there. Anyway, so that's sort of the victory screen that I was looking at. I probably should put together like a playlist of reference videos to sort of examine how other... Because we could do something like Final Fantasy 7 battle. Let's skip to an ending part of it. Although if this is all bosses battles, chances are it's not actually going to have an actual end fight. You'll have to first go to a loading screen, then put an animation, and load the other scene. Well, but the problem is, so when you don't load asynchronously, you can't do that sort of animation stuff, because when you load it non-asynchronously, it just freezes the main thread and it hogs everything until it's done loading. So if I had an animation saying, let's say I had a loading bar that was just arbitrarily going from 0 to 1, if I loaded halfway through that, it would get stuck at the halfway point until the level loading was done, and then it would continue on. But that's not what I want. That defeats the purpose of having a loading bar. Anyway, so this is the victory screen for Final Fantasy. Now we get to zoom in on the character, again, the animation. Fairly basic. And I'm kind of partial to the Mario one a little bit more, just because it feels a little bit more playful. And I do like the very, very, very nice, subtle Mario and his partner start moving to the right again, which is indicative of you've won the battle, so you're going to progress again. As opposed to Final Fantasy, where it's just, stand there and fade to black. Which isn't bad, it's just, in my opinion, not as good. So, I think I'm going to try that. And we are going to have, let's do camera movements. I'm going to rename this to cutscenes. And then we will have, let's go to director, create a new cutscene. I'm going to, call this victory. I'll just call it victory, I guess. Its duration will be, we'll do 5 seconds. These are all pretty short. It's not going to start by default. We are not going to have any shot tracks. We will have no audio tracks. We will have one actor track groups, which is going to be our camera. And that is pretty much it. We'll create cutscene. I don't know why, but for some reason skippable dialogue doesn't actually make it non-skippable. Okay, so now onto the actual cutscene for this. We're going to go to victory. We have battle camera group. We will add a curve track. This curve track is going to be based on our position for our camera. And we'll probably need one for rotation as well. But for the time being, I'm not going to worry too much about that. Dang, this is going to suck. So I guess I'm going to move director up here so that you guys can see the camera. I was going to move it to my second screen, but I don't like doing that because you guys can't see what I'm doing. So I'm going to edit this clip. This is set for its position. And I think I need to actually say add curve. Right, there we go. I don't want it set up like that. But, so we're going to edit this, and this is where our camera will be by default during combat. But we actually want it to... I'm going to add another track. Add a second curve track. This one is going to be a clip curve. And this... Oh, you know what? I wonder if I can delete this. I add another curve. Nope. Okay, it's on the same thing. So I'm going to have a second curve track. Add a clip curve. Set this to be our rotation. Add curve. Okay. So all that stuff's set up. Oh yes, and how are you, Narcos, by the way? I need to do better at that. I always feel rude whenever I forget to ask people how they're doing. So, we're actually going to want to have the camera move over to our hero. And So let's edit this. And make this 5. Let's set our camera curve to just be slightly further left. Ooh, this is going to be tough. Might do 90, and then we're going to have our position. This is going to be tough. Okay, I'm going to have to actually put this off to the side so that I can see what I'm doing. So I apologize, you guys won't be able to see what my curves look like, but I will show you after I'm done, because I need to be able to edit this stuff with the scene view. Okay, so let's go right here. I think this is pretty decent. So it basically goes like this. This is another thing that I love about these cutscene tools in Unity, the scrubbing. Makes it really, really nice to see your tweens. So we have smoother, so I can actually play it. So this is what the cutscene would look like. And that is actually really, really long. So I'm going to shorten this by, I don't know. Let's make it 4 seconds. Oh, good. It doesn't actually adjust your clips. Because why would you want that? Jeez. So I have to approximate. Oh, good. I can hold down control at least. Okay. So let's try this again. So this is with 4 seconds instead of 5. Still feels a little slow. I'm going to drop it all the way down to 30, or 30, to, actually, you know what? I don't need to drop the duration. I can actually just do, let's make this motion 2 seconds. So now the actual transition is 2 seconds long. There we go. And I can have the cutscene last longer than that transition. Always wanting to host when we finish streams, but no one. I appreciate it. I actually need to look into hosting stuff. I've never done it. I'm not still not very Twitch savvy, I feel. All right, so we have this nice transition. So we go from here to here. And then we'll want to have our player character actually move. So I think we're done with our rotation. And we never see this side, do we? Ah, we barely do. Ah, that sucks. Okay, so my rotation just needs a little bit of tweaking. Give me a second here. I'm gonna make this 2 seconds, and I'm going to just slightly make this like 92. Oh dear, what just happened? Okay, there we go. Okay, so now if I play, okay, and you might not have been able to notice it on the stream, but there was a very, very slight black edge here because the camera was just slightly wide enough to see past this. So now it's perfectly in line with that edge, so you can't actually see past it. All right, so that's our camera movement. After the camera movement happens, we're going to want to have, I think, a brief, let's say 1.5 to 2 second long period where the player doesn't actually do anything, or they do a little animation. I'll have to figure out what that animation is. So I'm going to change this back up to 5 seconds. And then we're going to be done editing these tracks. So the camera movements are good. Let's add a new track, add an actor track. Ah, crap, no. Delete, sorry. Here we go, add group. Actor track group. We will call this player group. We'll add a new curve track, and this is going to be, excuse me, position, similar to what we've done before. Uh-oh. Why are you mad? Oh, I forgot to add the player. Okay. So we're going to add hero right there. Then now we can actually say transform, position, add curve. So we will start them here. And let me, we're actually going to move this. And let's say, so the other cutscene ends at about 2. We'll have a second and a half of nothing. And then we will have our character start to move off screen while the screen fades to black. I'll need to see if I can set up a custom event for that. So let's see, let's go here at the end, and then we will want to actually move our character. So let's go here, and we'll start, oh, not 0, or not X, Z. Start moving off to the right. Let's just do that, and let's see what happens. So this is what the cutscene will look like. We got our camera movement, about a second and a half of nothing, and then our hero starts to move off to the right. I feel like the hero's movement is a little sudden. So you just start booking it really quickly. I'm gonna slow that just a little bit. So now let's try that. There we go. That's much better. Okay. I think that's actually a pretty good spot for that cutscene then. So now that we have that, I don't think I need anything extra. I will actually test just real quick. I want to see if I can add. So I have a director group. What can I add here? I can add a global track, and I can add. Okay, I guess I can't really do much there. That's kind of annoying. So this is what my final, I'll just go ahead and dock it here. This is what my final curves look like for the actual cutscene. We have our camera curves over here. Then we have about a second and a half of nothing that I will fill with either a character animation or some sort of dialogue or something. And then we will actually have our character moving off screen to the right. So let me go ahead and save that. We're going to collapse this, put it with the other cutscenes, and the last thing that we are going to do is change our player curve track to not revert. It's going to finalize these positions. So these options are actually really important. If these are set to revert instead of finalize, when the animation is done, it will snap back to where it was. And I don't want that. I want to make sure that everything's where it's meant to go. Cutscene is active. Stop. There we go. Okay, so let's go to curve track again, and these are going to be finalize. And finalize. All right. So that's all of the cutscenes. Let's go ahead and put the victory cutscene in here. Then we're going to come back to our code. Let's go to combat scene manager. We're going to have a arbitrary yield time of 3 seconds, which is not great. I need to find a better way to do that. And then we will have victory cutscene.play yield return new wait 4 seconds victory. Nope, didn't mean to hit star. Victory cutscene dot duration. And I'm going to go ahead and say -1f. So I have an arbitrary fade time. And actually, you know what? We might make that -2F so that it matches the rest of the fade. Let's let that load. Let's save, and then I think the cutscene will be done. And at that point, it's just a matter of polishing up the actual combat itself. All right. So, 1 second. Piles. All right. Let's open up sewers and play. Where the... Ah, crap. Well, that worries me. We'll see what happens. Combat camera. Or, not combat camera. There was a null reference error, and I don't know where it came from. So, hooray. We might have a nasty surprise waiting for us. I also need to add a background to that. God, it's so loud! Ugh. Crush, punch, hit, stomp, attack, kick, hit, attack, punch, attack, punch, punch, stomp, punch, hit, crush. Alright. Do battle. So hit, crush, punch, kick, hit, attack, punch, stomp, punch. Okay, we get our actual smoke, then we move off, victory dance, and we move off to the right. Yes! The audio and everything works. Nice. I like that transition. It definitely needs sound. There's no audio. But it's functional, which is 2/3 of the law. Alright. So, what the heck is up with all these? I must have left. I'll go ahead and delete these debugs. I don't need these all in here. Get input. Really? Man, I had a lot of debugs in combat view. I don't remember having these all in here. I thought I deleted all of them. Get rid of that. Don't need them. And this is just going to clean up the inspector a little bit, which is why I'm deleting them. Alright, we can delete start combat, delete select action, delete battle. And while we are here, we can also disable our combat text. So let's see, type the word to avoid damage, blah, 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 blah. Current count, battle phase, coroutine. Let's go here, go to definition. And, right here. So, turn that off. So that should, I think, prevent the combo meter from showing up when the enemy is playing. I'm a little concerned with how hard it is to tell when an enemy's close to death. And I don't know if I want to have a health meter in there for him, because I feel like that would be a little, I don't know, much. It doesn't feel right. But at the same time, go ahead and mute the audio. There are certainly benefits to having it. I don't know, it's not necessary. I don't think Final Fantasy does it. Most JRPGs, I believe, don't do it. Most Western games don't do it either. It's really only a select few that actually do show you the enemy's health. Um, kick, attack, kick, stomp, hit, stomp, punch, crush, attack. I'm going to stop so that the enemy can do their thing. Okay. So it's not great because it's actually setting up the attack combo. Alright, so let me find when this is being done, find all references. Here we go. And we will set this to be null. So now it shouldn't actually have anything. Let's go ahead and delete these comments because I don't actually need them. There we go. Oh, and actually while I'm here, let's see. Item high, blah, blah, blah. We want to... When the input menu goes off screen, the reason we're not hitting that bug anymore is because I'm not typing until it goes off screen. And I think when it gets off screen, it actually deselects it. So I'm guessing that the error doesn't show up if it's deselected properly. So let me... Right. Look for hide input. Let's go to definition. And okay, that might not be what I want. Can I do input dot deselect? Dang it! I don't know how to deselect it. So you can select, but there's no deselect. That's dumb. Hold on. Input.select field. This is an extension that I wrote because Unity still has a stupid error. So here we go. And you know what? Definition. I'm just going to go ahead and add it here. So okay, public static void. This basically gets around a weird bug in the Unity input fields and the TextMesh Pro input field because, from what I can guess, currently they are pretty much just exact duplicates of the original with some minor editing. But for some reason, you can't press enter to submit your response with your input field and then immediately just reselect that input field. It doesn't work. So you actually have to set the current selection to be null. Then you can actually select the input field again. It's really, really dumb. I have no idea why they do it that way, but that's just how it works. Okay, so I think that's pretty much what I want. And I'm just going to say deselect field. I'm going to move this back over here. And I think that'll give me what I want. So it should actually just deselect it right away as opposed to awkwardly not deselecting it until the end. Oh, and of course the inconsistent line endings. Advanced save. Really wish it wouldn't do that. It's really frustrating. All right. Once I get this working, I might call that a stream for tonight. Just because, like I said, the biggest priority for me is fixing that god damn castle bug. Which makes no sense. I don't know why it does that. It drives me crazy. You know, I'm fine accepting a bug when it's my fault because I can at least understand it. It's usually caused by my stupidity or some oversight of mine or whatever. But when it's something built into Unity, it makes it frustrating for me to deal with because I can't really do anything. Hit. So we're testing two things. We're testing that the input field is immediately deselected, which it is not. How annoying. And we are testing that the enemy does not display, which it does not. Nice. So you can see so that should be enough. Or fall over, smoke pops up, dissipates, it's gone, zoom in, and victory dance, fade off to the right. Ha! I don't know why, but I really like that final transition. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good spot to end on the Devstream tonight. Everything's functional, and most of the stuff that may need to get done for the stand-up tomorrow are going to be either boring polish or nuclear options, like making a new castle scene, which I probably shouldn't touch until after tomorrow, honestly. But that's where we have source control. So Thursday should be back. I'll give a debrief on how the stand-up went and any changes I've made since then. I don't know if I'll... well, I guess it would be mostly changes I do tonight. Because chances are after the stand-up tomorrow, I'm not going to want to do much. And in terms of streaming for the game analysis stuff, keep an eye on the Twitter feed for that, just because it's going to be sort of sporadic and non-scheduled stuff probably on Saturdays. But we'll see what happens when I actually get that in there, because hopefully, in addition to that, I might actually do a stream at some point in the next couple of weeks for VR stuff, because I put in an order for the HTC Vive like 30 minutes after it went up for sale, and I just last week got a confirmation saying they're processing my order, which I would have assumed meant it was going to ship this week, but I still haven't gotten an email saying that, so who knows. Hopefully sometime in the next 2 weeks I'll be able to talk about VR stuff and sort of break down designing for it or something like that. I think it'd be interesting. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for me tonight. So, as always, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time.